Hello everyone, this is Evan from the Trade Risk here on February 24th, Wednesday, with a market recap video. We are first going to analyze the current market environment. We're going to look at some other markets, sector analysis, individual names, and then I have a bunch of trade ideas to run through later in the video. Now we'll jump into it because we got a lot to cover here. A very impressive stand by the bulls today, given how we opened this day today. We finished up almost 0.5% in the SPY ETF. Now let's look at where we came from this week. We had a strong gap higher on Monday, right into this band of resistance, right at this 194.50 area, and all of the move was essentially in that gap higher on Monday. We saw just a little bit of movement higher during the session, but it was a small range day, and we just stalled out there right at that critical level. Now, yesterday we gapped to the lower end of Monday's range, the opening price, and we proceeded to just sell off and very neatly fill the gap from Monday. It wasn't a real panic. It was sort of a methodical selling for the first half of the day, and then we just went sideways here and closed at the lows. Now, of course, today we had that gap lower once again, filling another gap, this time from last Tuesday, or actually last Wednesday, right around 191, and we filled that gap. We tried to sell off, we tried to push lower this morning, we failed to. You could see the internals sort of starting to shift and starting to trend higher as we started to sort of catch our footing and grind higher in the SPY. Of course, oil was a bit of a story today too, which had a recovery. We'll get into that after. But we saw a very nice, a very constructive rally, a reversal of the doom and gloom of this morning's open. This was a follow-through down day, coming into an important area right around 190. That was what we were watching. And it held it, and it undercut it, and it reversed higher. Exactly what you want to see. So again, we now have the fast-moving averages in this bullish alignment. We're at the top end of this trend, of this range. We still are range bound here, so we still have this overhead resistance right around 194.50, 195 area. But very constructive signs. We saw support tested, it held, we closed on the highs, so I think it's a nice win here. Wouldn't be surprised to see us carry through higher tomorrow. Perhaps we retest this level, that's in the cards. Whatever the case is, whatever happens tomorrow, we have a pretty good line in the sand right now. 180, today's lows, 190 to 189.50. That is a good area to use for some really tight stop losses on this market. Again, the next bigger level below us is around 187.50. That's where support was for most of January, late January. So that would be the next level if we take out today's lows. But I think you can cheat. Effectively we were using this area before today, and now I think you can use this area to tighten up your stops a little bit. Whether it be certainly for the long side, and if you want to get short, that's certainly the line in the sand you should use. Now, if we look at some other indices, IWM, look what's going on here. A very impressive recovery here as well. You can see we came back down, dipped below $100, challenged this $99 right here where a lot of support was coming in. That's where buyers stepped in again. You're just seeing that bullish cross here on some of these fast moving averages, but you see we basically engulfed yesterday's small range day, and we closed at the highs. We closed above this area right in here, right around 101.25 or so, and you can see we're bumping up against this little trend line that you could draw declining here. So you're at a very critical spot in the IWM. I really like the action today here. We took a position in TNA, so that's the levered, the 3 times long instrument here for the Russell, for the IWM. So we are long that overnight. Our stop loss is in place. Not looking for a home run. We're looking for continuation here. I like the pattern. I like the fact that it's on the cusp of sort of a multi-line breakout there. As far as the Qs go, Another, constructive move up almost 1% today. You can see a little more clearly range bound here. Found support right at $100, right where you'd want it to. Still have this overhead band right up here, right around 104. Keep that on watch. Everything, similar comments still apply. You're starting to get that crossover right now. A lot of the big tech names, a lot of the growth names did see, we're seeing some heavy selling pressure early in the day. Most of them found a nice reversal to help carry this higher for us. So looking constructive here all around. Now, if we look at TLT, saw a reversal the other way. Of course, we had the nice gap higher above yesterday's highs, still above the fast-moving averages, but you can see it closed on the lows. And you can see if you look at a weekly chart, that's the level, this area right here. So these highs from April in 2015 are still hanging in there. You can see the tails, the attempts to get above it, but we haven't been able to close above it. That's still a problem for the bond market right now, but still a monster market. Trend is still higher, so just give it some more time. Gold, similar comments here. Gapped higher, couldn't hold it, reversed, closed on the lows. Again, the strong trend still remains. It's basing at a high level. Give it a few more days. This still looks constructive. You just wasn't quite ready to follow through to the upside just yet. Silver, similar comments. Strong trend, reversal. Everything looks the same in those spaces there. Now, USO perhaps playing a big part today, was down significantly. I don't know what it was on a percentage basis, 4% maybe at the lows. We saw a strong reversal. I know there was news out. I think it was perhaps what should have been perceived as unfavorable news. The market clearly reacted positively to it. Don't hold me to that story. That's my interpretation, just based on what I saw briefly. The bottom line is a nice reversal, close on the highs. That's constructive. Still lower end of this range. You got overhead supply. It's still just kind of a mess here. I don't like the look of oil here. Nothing doesn't do anything for me, but that is a positive for the market today. UNG held positive, mildly constructive, but still just kind of ultimate carnage here. So this is an avoid or be short in my book. Now, if we look at some of the sector analysis, utilities, well, you guys know I'm still long utilities, XLU specifically. We've been in this for a while. Nice new closing high here, taking out this previous resistance. The trend kind of grinds higher here. Not a very exciting trade, but it's a trade that pays, and I like that. So XLU continues to work. XLI, the industrials, we've been talking about them for a while. Wasn't so hot today, but still holding up pretty well when you look at them across relative basis, across sectors. Even the semis today were pretty strong. You can see they're coming into a pretty important area. So a lot of names, technology, a lot of these sectors saw reversals today. The only thing that was probably notably weak, financials, and other than that, everything else was pretty much in line. No super rock stars to my knowledge. Now, getting into some individual names, we'll go through them really quick because I got a lot of names I want to run through for the ideas. Apple still holding up here. I know a lot of news and a lot of hype around this. I think it's doing exactly what it should be doing. There's nothing special about Apple here. It's basing out. It's finding support where it should. It's messy price action. I think this is very constructive price action to try and put in some type of short-term base. We haven't seen it, or short-term bottom. We haven't seen it, but it's still just acting and behaving just as I would expect to see. So I don't think there's too much to say right there. Google, similar comments above the some of these moving averages still. It's working sideways. It's range bound. It's kind of messy here. Probably still favors the bears. Needs to get back above 735 or so. Otherwise, you got to be careful with it. Amazon, constructive reversal today. You can see the bullish cross trying to happen here with some of these fast-moving averages. Still a very vulnerable looking pattern, but this is a pattern that can continue as people either stay sidelined or don't get involved in this. So I think Amazon, tread with caution, but right now, short term, the trend is higher. As far as Netflix, again, this looking like it could be constructive, vulnerable for sure, especially at the lows today, but this reversal was constructive. You can see the moving averages trying to start to curl over and get a little helpful there. Really got to get above $95, get back above this band, and I think it's a whole nother story. I think it's a lot more constructive on some type of false breakdown move here. Until you see that with Netflix, you still have to be careful like you do with all these names. Facebook, similar comments, although look at bullish alignment here. coming in to test some big resistance. This area right in here, or at least an area that posed a lot of problems in the past. A lot of overhead supply in here, a lot of failures back here in late December. This will be an important level for it. Facebook, arguably though, the most constructive, out of those big names that we just went through. Tesla, this one continues to be a monster too. Looks, probably the most vulnerable out of all of these high growth names, but it is marching higher. Nice reversal off the lows today. You can see the crossover starting to happen. Big level right above it. This was the breakdown level, which acted as support for multiple years. Keep that level on watch. I think that's important. Finally, Twitter, nice hammer today. Sold off pretty hard, recovered most of it. I think this is, again, a win for the bulls to be able to step up here and rally, some 4 or 5% off of that negative news. You still have this resistance, this area right in here, right around 1850, 1875. That's what you really need to take out to be bullish on Twitter. Otherwise, it's looking a lot more constructive as of recently. Now, getting into some individual names, I don't have these marked up too well. There were a ton of names on my scan today that looked for different patterns, but some certain things either relative highs or at least exhibiting some type of momentum. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time going through each individual one. BLOX. Can see this one here trying to poke above. Couldn't hold on the highs here. Could move pretty quick though, above like 1650 or so. Notice this big gap, so there's a big missing supply chunk right in here, so that one could move quickly if that continues to move. Also check the earnings on all these. HPQ, this one looking good. See, it's been flagging, had a strong push higher, held up high, moving averages caught up, and now it's trying to push again. Looks pretty constructive. MXL, think this one has earnings very soon, so you gotta be careful on this one, but you can see coming right back into an important area here. Keep that 1575 level on watch. Box, this one really surged to the upside. I liked it when I saw it right around 1125, and then it just took right off, so stretched, but this one looks good as well. GRUB, here's one that's flagging out. You can see starting to emerge some of these with a nice bullish alignment going on here. So it's been kind of flagging out. Look for it above $23. Marvel Technology, I think this is actually the one that has MXL doesn't have earnings. I think this one had some unconfirmed earnings, which kept me away from it today. Otherwise, I probably would have been involved. But look at this big level here, right around 950 or so. To clear that level, and that one certainly has some legs behind it. MELI, this one specialty retail name in the cyclical sector. You can see this nice sort of engulfing pattern here. That looks good for continuation. SAAS, this one was a little weak. I didn't see this one. I mean, a little bit of weakness here late day where it faded off that $9 level, but something that could be going on there. COTY, this name, this is a big level here going back multiple months. So keep this one on watch. Maybe you'd want to see a little more up to $30 or so. It's been a stretched kind of move higher for this past month, but still certainly you're seeing a surge and a squeeze there in COTY. What else do we have? SYK, semiconductor name, again, little stretched, might be able to do something with that. QUOT. So a lot of names here to look through. COLM, this one is a nice look to it, high tight base. There was a lot to choose from today, it bodes well, I think, looking forward. We'll have to see what tomorrow brings. Again, market's still range bound, so you have to, I guess, maintain the expectation that we're still range bound here, despite today's nice reversal. But I hope these ideas helped you out. Again, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you do like it. As always, thank you for watching. I will catch you next time.